Think about the last time you sent a message you regretted, or agreed to something you didn't want to do, or ordered the takeaway when you'd promised yourself you wouldn't. What time of day was it? There's a pattern most people never notice, and once you see it, you'll never make the same mistakes the same way again. Your decision-making ability is not fixed. It doesn't stay constant through the day. It depletes, like a battery. And most of us are running major decisions on 3%. In the next 7 minutes, we're going to cover what actually happens to your brain when it's tired, why this makes you predictably impulsive, and the one simple rule that can protect almost every important decision you'll ever make. Decision fatigue. In the 1990s, a social psychologist named Roy Baumeister ran a now-famous experiment. Participants were brought into a room that smelled of freshly baked cookies. On the table sat a bowl of those cookies and a bowl of radishes. One group was told they could eat the cookies. The other was told to resist the cookies and eat only radishes. Both groups were then given a difficult puzzle to solve. The cookie group worked on it for an average of 19 minutes before giving up. The radish group, the ones who had already spent mental energy resisting temptation, gave up after just 8 minutes. Same puzzle, same people, half the mental endurance, just from one act of self-control earlier. Baumeister called this ego depletion. The idea that willpower, self-control, and good decision-making all draw from the same limited mental resource, and once that resource runs low, everything gets harder. Later research refined this further. It isn't just willpower that depletes. It's your entire capacity for nuanced thinking. When your brain is fatigued, it defaults to shortcuts. It reaches for the familiar. It avoids complexity. It takes the path of least resistance, which is almost never the path of best judgment. What's happening in your brain? Here's what's physically happening when your brain is exhausted. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thinking, long-term planning, and impulse control, requires a disproportionate amount of energy to function. It's the most recently evolved part of the brain. It's powerful, and it's expensive to run. When energy is low, whether from lack of sleep, mental overload, stress, or simply a long day, your brain does something logical from a survival standpoint. It starts rationing resources. The prefrontal cortex gets deprioritized. The more primitive reactive parts of the brain, the areas driving impulse and emotion, start taking over. This is why, at 11 p.m., a bag of crisps seems like an excellent idea when at 9 a.m. it didn't even occur to you. Your rational self isn't asleep. It's just been quietly defunded. Research on judicial rulings, yes, actual court decisions, found something startling. Judges were significantly more likely to grant parole at the beginning of the day and right after breaks. By late morning or late afternoon, the default ruling became denial. Not because the cases were worse, because making the nuanced, considered decision to grant parole required more mental effort, and depleted brains default to no. Your brain, when tired, becomes a machine that says no to complexity and yes to whatever requires the least effort. Where this shows up in real life, once you know this, you'll start seeing it everywhere. Why most impulse purchases happen in the evening? Decision fatigue. Your resistance to temptation is lowest. Why do arguments with partners escalate at night? Because the empathy and perspective taking that require prefrontal cortex function are running on empty. Why do people send emails they regret, agree to commitments they didn't want, or eat in ways they later feel bad about? Almost always late in the day? Same reason. And here's the cruel twist. Decision fatigue impairs your ability to recognize that you're making poor decisions. You don't feel tired in the way you feel physically exhausted. You just feel fine and make worse choices. The person most confident they're thinking clearly at 11 p.m. is often the one most depleted. The one rule that changes everything. There's a principle that some of the world's most effective people operate by. And it sounds almost insultingly simple. Never make important decisions when you're tired, hungry, or emotionally activated. That's it. But the application is where most people fall short. It means schedule difficult conversations for mornings, not evenings. Write the important email, then leave it in drafts until morning before you send it. Make your food choices at the beginning of the day, not when you're depleted at the end of it. Sleep on any big financial decision, not as a cliché, but as a genuine cognitive reset. Beyond that, protect your decision-making energy earlier in the day. This is why some high-performing individuals reduce trivial choices, what to wear, what to eat for breakfast, not because those choices matter, but because every decision, however small, draws slightly from the same pool. Protect your best thinking for what deserves it. Finally, learn your own depletion signals. For most people, it's irritability, a tendency to reach for comfort, or difficulty concentrating. These are your warning signs that your prefrontal cortex is running low. Not a character flaw. A biological state, one you can learn to recognize and respond to before it costs you. Your brain isn't failing you when you make bad decisions late at night. It's doing exactly what evolution designed it to do, conserving energy, avoiding complexity, defaulting to familiar patterns. Understanding that removes the self-blame and gives you something much more useful, a strategy. If this made you think differently about a decision you've made, subscribe, because next week we're looking at why the human brain is spectacularly bad at predicting what will make us happy, and what that means for almost every goal you've ever set. See you then.